What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a new video. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the newly granted patent for a possible new Nintendo Switch Joy-Con controller and the rumors around the rumored new Switch or Switch Pro price range. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to voiceover mode. If you do like the video, please go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. But let's get into it. So if you haven't already heard, a YouTuber by the name of Nintendo Academy dug up a Nintendo patent on the 15th of March this year. Now, it's been heavily rumored that this patent has some kind of inclination to how the Joy-Cons will look on the rumored new Switch or Switch Pro. The patent title is Controller for Computer, and it was granted on March 2nd, 2021. This was actually lodged back in 2018, however was only recently approved. In this patent, there are different diagrams and there are some notable changes which we'll get into right now. So as you can see on your screen, there's a comparison of the current existing Joy-Con and the proposed new Joy-Con. You can see, starting from the top of the new proposed Joy-Con, there is a physical D-pad. Rather than the individual buttons, it's all into one and it's a physical D-pad. You can see they're slightly concaved or curved in, and I always prefer a physical D-pad over the individual buttons. I've always grown up on a physical D-pad, so to me, they just play better. You'll also notice a very big difference with the actual stick itself. Instead of being the protruding stick like it is on the current existing Joy-Con controller, it seems to be reverting back to what it was on the 3DS. Now, I could only assume that this change is taking place to address the Joy-Con drift issue. By having a Joy-Con that sits almost flush with the face of the unit itself, it means that they can mitigate and minimize how much dust and debris gets in. Dust and debris behind a Joy-Con stick is one of the causes for Joy-Con drifting. Now again, this is only a patent. It's not a guarantee that this will be something in the future. There are hundreds of patents that are granted, but are just never used. Now you'll be able to see some notable layout changes in these controllers as well. One such change is the fact that the stick is no longer sitting on the top of the controller, it's actually moved to the middle of the Joy-Con controller. The new D-pad now sits on the top of the controller. Now, I personally don't mind this layout. My only issue I can see is when you're playing multiplayer and you're splitting the two Joy-Cons between two players. I don't know how this is going to impact gameplay. Now, these two buttons, I don't know what these are going to be like. It could be the start and select button, I'm assuming that's what it would be, or they could be the old school A and B button. What I don't see Nintendo doing is using the D-pad and replacing that with the A, B, X, Y buttons. One of the benefits of having the individual buttons on the old Joy-Con controllers was that because they were individual, they could have multiple button mapping. So yes, on one hand there were the arrows, or if you took them off and played with the individual controller, let's say in two-player mode, they would then double up as A, B, X, Y. If you've gone ahead and changed that D-pad to a physical D-pad, I can see that there's going to be some issues in multiplayer. So whether those two buttons on the bottom will then just become A and B and you won't have the X and Y buttons, I don't know. Again, this isn't a guarantee that this controller will make its way to the next iteration of the Switch. It's just a pattern, there's no guarantee, but I can see that that might be an issue. Again, if you're going to be playing a docked mode or you use the Pro controller, it doesn't really matter. This just might be an issue that people who play two-player local co-op might run into. And again, if you look on the back, it has the two triggers, which is fairly standard. And you can also see some shoulder buttons on the face where you slide in the Joy-Cons into the actual Switch console itself. Now, with all the rumors that are coming out with the new Switch, people are obviously taking this newly granted patent as some kind of indication that this might be the new controller for the rumored new Switch. Again, as I said, there is no guarantee that this is going to be the new controller. There's not even a guarantee that there is a new Switch on the way. There's just a lot of rumors coming from quote-unquote insiders. Now, there are several reports saying that the Switch model will release sometime later this year in 2021. However, obviously there's a high chance that might be delayed till 2022 given the pandemic and how that's slowed down production on a lot of things. In terms of a price point, Matthew from Bloomberg Intelligence has stated that his prediction for the console will be somewhere between $350 and $400 USD. He goes on to say that $349.99 will increase the value proposition of the device, but I think Nintendo can drive strong demand even at a $399 price. Now, as I said before, this isn't a guarantee, this is just a prediction. It is all speculation until we hear something official from Nintendo. But guys, those are the new changes proposed in the newly granted patent for the Nintendo Joy-Con. Do you like the changes? Do you prefer the old one? Let me know your thoughts down below. And the price range, is $350 to $400 too much for you? Do you think it's a good price? Especially given the rumors of the hardware and software upgrades. I personally think it's an okay price. However, when things come over to Australia, it tends to get marked up a lot more for import and conversions and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be a very, very pricey console, especially down here in Australia. But guys, I want to hear your thoughts down below. Do you like the changes? Do you not like the changes? Will you be getting one? Is this enough for you to upgrade your current existing Switch? Let me know all that in the comments down below. And while you're there, please leave the video a like. Very much appreciated. But take care, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.